Thanks, JC. Well, I think if you think that's bad, wait till you hear about the banking system. I think some of the criticisms are certainly valid, and as I reflect on the state of the crypto economy and crypto transformation as it exists today, I think we see two different paths. One is the legacy centralization path of the financial services space, and one is the true benefit of the technology, which is decentralization. So I'm from Andreessen Horowitz. I'm the global head of policy for the crypto funds. Andreessen Horowitz has $8 billion in committed capital dedicated to the crypto ecosystem that is spread across 100 different portfolio companies in what we call the Web3 economy. We are very long-term investors. We have a 10-year plus time horizon. We are not focused on current prices. We are not focused on trading. We do not flip tokens. We're focused on the long-term benefits of what this technology can actually mean. We say that we believe in the world computer of the technology and not in the world casino aspect of some parts of the community. And it is the technology through decentralization that we believe is going to create and is currently creating the next version of the internet, what we call Web3. As we think about the advancement of crypto and blockchain, and I would submit to you that they go together. You can't have blockchain without tokenization, because you can't have blockchains without decentralization, and tokenization is a way to spread economic value and control so that you do not have centralization, and centralized blockchains are just shared Google Docs. The true benefit of the technology is decentralization. And what we saw with the advent of Bitcoin and then the advent of the Ethereum network were three very important things. We saw the ability to create a unique digital item. Previously, if you tried to create a digital item, there was no guarantee that that digital item couldn't be double spent, right? It could be copied, it could be traded infinitely, therefore it could have no value or representation of value or be ascribed a certain value by a marketplace. Secondly, individuals were able to transact those tokens and what that value, the value they ascribed to that in a trustless fashion without centralized intermediaries. And then with the advent of the Ethereum blockchain, composability was added to that technology. The ability to create smart contracts and program different aspects that could work together so that tokens and economies could represent new innovations that before were not possible, that then spread economic benefits and distributed them much more democratically. And so how we think that translates into the idea of a new internet, many of you have heard this before, but I'd like to just go through it quickly, is that we think of the internet as in three stages, right? Web 1 was the early internet. It was the internet of the 1990s. It was an open source internet, right? It was an internet of protocols, HTTP, SMTP, right? These were open source software program protocols that anyone could build upon, and you knew if you built on it, you owned what you built because it was transparent and widely accessible. But that internet was a read-only internet. We took things from the physical world, we put them online, and we interacted with them on a one-on-one basis. Web 2 comes along in the 2000s, and it becomes a read-write internet. It becomes an internet of networks, of creativity, right, of interaction. But instead of the open source nature of Web 1, it becomes closed. We now have 5 companies that control 90% of all internet traffic. All of the value that we as citizens contribute to networks is captured by those centralized firms. We think that tokenization and blockchain can create Web 3, which is the return to the open source nature of Web 1 through transparent blockchain systems, but create a read-write-own internet, where individuals can own the representation of value of a token, which can represent their participation in a network, their digital intellectual property, right, their digital identity. And so That might sound futuristic, but that innovation is already here. We see it in social media. There are decentralized social media platforms. In fact, I have one on my phone. There's an app called Warpcast built on the Farcaster protocol. The interface looks exactly like Twitter, except your handle, your posts, and your network are contained on an underlying blockchain. And the Warpcast app can select that data and present it to you. If you don't like the rules of the Warpcast app, if you don't feel like you are remunerated appropriately for your participation, you can change apps. You can go someplace else. You don't have to subject yourself to one algorithm or the rules of that one platform, which allows individuals to own what they are contributing. We see it in music. I don't know how many people know how many streams it takes on Spotify for an artist to receive $1,000. It takes 300,000 streams for an artist to make $1,000. There aren't many musicians out there that have that breadth of an audience. Right? Spotify takes a very large cut of intellectual property from musicians. There's now a protocol called SoundXYZ that allows early music developers and artists to monetize early fans. If you think about a music fan, what do they like to brag about? They like to brag, I saw that band in a garage, right? But how many of those early music fans are going to pay $500 or $1,000 to do that? No one. But if you have a true fan base, maybe a few of them pay $500 for an NFT that represents version number 1 of a song. SoundXYZ has already paid out $6 million to 600 artists in the last 18 months, representing $10,000 per musician. This is not Taylor Swift, right? $10,000 represents 3 million streams on Spotify. This is a way to democratize intellectual property, allow creators to own their communities, and create more trusted networks between people. And decentralization has benefits for law enforcement. We heard that yesterday with a great presentation. Any illicit funds that are ever transferred is a horrible thing, but it is a distinct advantage to law enforcement when it is done through blockchain. The traceability allows blockchain-based illicit funds transfers to be recovered. Right? We saw that with the Colonial Pipeline. Out of the $3 billion that was paid in the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack, I believe over $2.8 billion has been recovered, 90% recovery rate. The Treasury Forfeiture Fund, which is one of 2 large funds in the United States for the receipt of illicit ransomware payments and other payments that have been recovered, over 70% of that is constituted from cryptocurrency recovery. Further, the benefits of blockchain and transparency allow law enforcement to uncover the networks associated with illicit criminal activity. It's never individuals that conduct this activity, it is networks that do it. You have translators, programmers, website developers, right? Advertisers, marketers. When a ransomware payment gets paid and it is reported to a law enforcement agency, the law enforcement agency can target that wallet address on the blockchain and immediately see all of the transaction history that has ever existed for that wallet and everywhere that currency, that crypto goes in the future, which then provides a distinct benefit to the law enforcement community. There are significant benefits to the national security complex as well as the foreign policy complex. Maybe I'll leave those to a Q&A. Whatever regulation exists or whatever regulation develops for this technology, it can't undermine or destroy the benefits of the technology itself. It has to focus on the true risks which involve legacy centralization. Thank you.